the average family is spending about an extra $50, $40 a week more than they did 2 years ago.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of that, whenever I read the article through, that was on groceries per week. And I think it's the reasoning that they gave in that article was that people just aren't eating out as much anymore, too, with all the shutdowns and lack of service. I mean, we've all been out to eat and waited an hour just to get served. It is what it is right now.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and there's more to it. And in the article that I was watching, it was just talking about how the shortage is prevalent along, and it goes up and down along with the pandemic. The more it spikes, the more shortages and the more problems that you're going to have. And as it goes down, the less you will have. And it's running an even line with a lot of our problems are definitely and will correlate directly to COVID right now. And I think that we all got to really realize that.
Yeah, I mean, you got people that, the protocols for a lot of companies is, you get sick, you get a fever, you got to stay home.
Right. Well, you should.
Yeah, you should. But I mean, before the pandemic, people will come to work with a cough.
Oh, yeah.
Or
all
a very
the time.
small fever. Now it's like, no, you got to stay home because you could have COVID.
Exactly.
And so, yeah.
What you got, producer?
Well, I was just going to say, so one thing I did find funny about this whole empty shelf thing was in the article, they interviewed just some random person who was out shopping, and they're like, yeah, we've had to forage around for food or whatever that we found on the shelves. Yeah, you got to find stuff. And I'm like, if this actually gets bad, how are we actually going to start foraging? Like right now it's like, oh, I gotta go with my bow and arrow and hunt the Sam's Club for the new sampling that's going on in the frozen section. Right. But the second it goes down, I want to know what actually happens with these people.
I'll tell you, it's we've just haven't experienced these kind of shortages before, and I think we're going to just have to get used to them until the supply chain, and I think until we get, I don't know that we'll ever truly get over, I don't think COVID will go away, but I think we'll learn to live with it, and I think we'll find ways to go around it and deal with it in the future.
Yeah, I think we're getting close to that now. I mean, I've even kind of think it no longer scares me as it did the first year or so. It just seems more like a flu. And yes, people every year die from the flu, right?
Right.
People get flu shots or don't get flu shots. It's just one of those things where you're almost getting dumbed down to it now a little bit.
But let's not minimize its danger. I don't want that to. I don't want Bob's not saying that he's not that it's not dangerous still.
No.
You definitely don't want to get it, right?
Absolutely
you definitely don't want to spread it.
No.
So Bob is in no way minimizing its danger and its importance, but we all understand. We've been dealing with this now for what, 2 years?
2 years. Yeah.
2 solid years, and we've kind of gotten to be. Each one of us have learned how to be a little bit better, a little bit smarter about. It's funny. 5 years ago, could you have walked into a bank with a mask on?
No.
I mean, let's be honest with each other. And,
no.
I mean, without people turning their heads and being a little bit nervous. And now
you have to.
You have to. Right? Now it's expected that you walk into the bank.
And it seems like there just haven't been that many bank robberies since this whole thing. You'd think there would be more.
They haven't been open. Drive-through only.
That's right. Good point there.
And who's wiping down the ATM machine? Who's going out and wiping down the ATM machine?
And also, on top of that, to go on that whole thing, so all the grocery stores and stuff that put like the plastic over the buttons, how much good is that really doing? Everybody's still touching the plastic that's on the buttons. All you're doing is just covering it, I guess. I don't understand that whole
maybe
thing.
They're making it waterproof. I don't understand.
You can still have germs in water. It's still possible.
I agree with you 100%. There's we're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to continue to deal with it. We're going to have to continue to struggle with it. All right. So I have before we will do let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we will run a video on a anti-rollover device that is going to be that is coming out. It's awesome technology. But I'll tell you what, let's take a 60-second break, and then we'll come back and we'll show the video and then talk about it right after the video. I want you to see this. This is interesting. And you know what? This will save lives. I mean, this will save truck drivers' lives going forward. So let's see. Everybody, it's Drive Safe Dave here with BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. As you know, winter is upon us, and with winter comes some difficulties and challenges. Now, if you live below or running below that 20 or I-10 corridor, you may not feel that pressure, but if you do, let's talk about a few little tips that we have. Tip number one, let's make sure we get over here and we drain these air tanks. Let's get that moisture out of there so that we make sure, because moisture and freezing cold temperatures don't mix. All they make is ice. Tip number two, remember when air temperature drops, so does pressure in these tires. You want to make sure that when you enter into or near cold temperatures, you make sure that your tire pressure is and cold pressure stays correct throughout these cold temperatures. You want to be safe out there because this is where the rubber meets the road. Tip number three, if it's extreme weather and extreme cold conditions, you may want to make sure that you use an anticoagulant or an anti-gel inside the diesel fuel so that it thins and doesn't gel up on you in the lines or anywhere else. Tip number four, as you know, when you enter into the West, there are certain regions that require you to have snow chains and or snow socks in that region. Make sure that you carry them. And tip number five, I'm going to give this one to you as a freebie. Carry with you a little bit of cat litter in your truck. That way, if you get a little bit stuck or if you get near a region that doesn't have a lot of grip, you can throw that down and give your truck that needed oomph to get out of those sticky or slippery situations. For more pertinent and safety information, you can always tune in Monday through Friday, Central Standard Time between 7 and 8 a.m. and get that needed information on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
We've taken a pre-existing component that's installed in all semi-trucks and integrated an anti-rollover technology that prevents the tractor itself from rolling over. We can automatically save up to 9,000 lives and injuries combined. Then we were able to schedule this jet test where its goal is to showcase the Axle fifth wheel product functions with wind.
Mechanically, it's not that complex of a system. This one will allow a quick release between the tractor and the trailer.
At the end of the day, it's Newton's third law.
Yeah, interesting, fascinating technology designed in releasing. I even went further into the article and watched some more simulations and different stuff. Pretty neat stuff. It is a 99.9% accuracy of releasing the trailer during a rollover event so basically before the tractor tips and is pulled over, it actually releases the trailer. So it's not going to release unless the trailer's going over. If the trailer's going to fall over, then it will release the tractor and it'll pop it will release the fifth wheel and cause the trailer to pop. And now that's a different fifth wheel plate and a different one by design, but very interesting stuff. So if you're in that wind event or whatever, it will release the trailer and cause the trailer to fall over.
One of the questions, again, just playing the opposite side of that, is what happens if that malfunctions?
Yeah, but you could say that about brakes.
That's true.
You could say that about anything, but by design, it's set there to save lives. I mean, what if your seatbelt malfunctions, right? I mean, or your airbag malfunctions.
So it only measures from the side to side, not the front to back.
Yeah, it's based upon the design. Rarely will a trailer roll over this way.
Well, no, but I mean wind coming from that way if they don't have the air dams and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's got a actually onboard computer inside the module. So if the trailer is going, like if it's already gone, I mean, once it reaches a certain point,
Right.
a trailer's not coming back, right? If
Yes,
it's got,
it's
once
gone.
it gets to a certain point, it's not coming back. It's going over. And mostly what happens when that happens, that tractor's pulled over at the last minute. And, you know, that's what interesting is that 75% of the cost of a rollover is in the tractor.
Yes.
Right. So it's not in the trailer. It's in the tractor because you're going to get a total damage of the tractor. Now, I'm not talking about product inside, and I'm not talking about, but I am talking about the equipment itself. Right. And you know what? We can replace a trailer. We can't replace a driver.
That's true. And the key is to protect life. The trailer doesn't have any life in it.
Yeah, and who
unless
cares?
Sir Rick
I
says
don't,
you're hauling illegal.
Yeah, I don't, and it doesn't matter. I'm just saying it's not by design, by technology. What an interesting.
What a great.
Yeah, I think you know they're working on it. There's like a bunch of them have been ordered. They're going to see how well they do. I think in certain areas, if you're running Wyoming, I think this is a great. I think it's I think it's a nice technology. And you know what? We even have faced Bob, you and I have experienced within a year we've experienced firsthand some of a driver having a pushover event, right? So so that's how dangerous it can be, and that's what can. But an interesting technology that's by design. I really think this kind of stuff is going further and further every time. We talk about new technologies in being implemented in the tractor. What a neat way to think about it when it comes to the release of the tractor.
Well, and what we know is certain inventions or ideas, they also lead to even more.
Absolutely.
And so I could see this becoming the jackknife situation where you can cause a rollover that maybe this thing separates and again protects the driver in a jackknife situation as well. Possibly it could lead to that technology as well.
Yeah, I don't know that now you have some other deals going on in jackknifing and stuff like that. I'm just talking about simple pushovers. I mean, we talked about it. We how many videos have we seen over and over when we have these high wind events when there's just tractor trailers strewn along the road, just tipped over, and it's the tractor that what I'm worried about is the driver inside and getting injured from the rollover.
Well, we had one in a curve one time years ago. Too,
oh yeah, absolutely.
You know? So that
100%.
curve, once that thing starts to go, it separates and the driver gets to stay on the road. And let's face it, when you're in a curve, most of the time there's nothing on the other side. So the trailer goes, it doesn't hit anybody, it doesn't hurt
It's going
anybody.
over anyway,
That's
guys.
right.
I mean, that's the
But
point.
keep the truck up.
Yeah, keep the tractor upright, keep the truck up safe for the driver.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this is, unlike a lot of technology that comes through the transportation industry, so a lot of it has controversy with what it is. It's changing a lot of stuff. This isn't really changing that much. All it's doing is providing a safer way to drive to have the truck. Like there's not really any downside here. Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of. I mean, yeah. If the technology was inexpensive and be able to be made, in broad spectrum, I guess there's always a cost. That you got to figure out. And I'm not saying that but I'm not doing anything that I don't think any driver out there would not want this, right? I don't think any driver would not want the ability to be safe.
Well, it's like, okay, let's think about some of the complaints with certain technologies, right? So automatic braking and cameras seem to be two that are common complaints.
Uh-huh.
Those, yet sometimes I don't want to brake whenever it breaks or it reads a sign. Totally get it. This, it's like, it's not going to release unless there's 50-mile-per-hour winds blowing your tractor over anyways. There is nothing that's going to happen.
If the trailer's going over is when it releases. It doesn't release any other, only it knows when the trailer's going to tip. You saw the truck going, right?
Yeah.
Once it knows it's going, it says, go. I'm done with you. And then lets it fall over to the side. I mean, it's not running down the highway dropping trailers. I mean.
Right. Well, I look at it just like an airbag or a seatbelt, right? It's not intrusive, but it helps protect your life.
Right.
Right? It just, and it is. It doesn't activate, like the airbag doesn't activate until a sensor goes off. And same thing here, right? Until that winds and it feels that thing going, then activates. So yeah, I don't see how you could ever be upset with.
Yeah,
this
I think
technology.
and it's interesting. It's cool how they got a big jet engine. I was watching this and so there was when I don't during the invasion of Kuwait, uh, they had blown all these fire wells. I mean, all these oil wells. They had ignited all these fire wells to make it difficult to put them out, and didn't want to make leave. It's kind of a scorched earth technology. When you vacate, you blow anything up that is
Right.
going to be of value. And all these fire wells were on fire, and they couldn't figure out how to get enough explosives to put them out. And a guy just said, you know what? We'll just take a C-130, and they just backed a jet engine up and blew them all out like candles. And it just backed a jet up to them. And what they did was they strapped a big jet engine on a tractor, turned it on, and then just drove right up to the oil well and blew it out like a candle because it was so much wind and force. And that's how they put all those oil wells out. They didn't blow them because before they had put explosives in them and robbed them of oxygen. Now they just used a different technology. Pretty neat stuff,
Well,
actually.
and yet, as powerful that engine is,
That's how powerful
a couple of ducks can stop it.
Well, they
Fly
go in the
into a
wrong
flock
way.
of geese and you-
They go in the wrong way. Interesting stuff. Hey, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, or just in 60 seconds, and we'll talk to you about some more about safety.
Hi, this is David Dover, also known as Drive Safe Dave. You are watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Safety is what you want to talk about, and safety is what you want to be every single day. That's what we're here for. We're here to make it better.
The industry needs BCB Live so that it can find new and inventive ways to bring safety to the forefront for every single person out there on the road.
You got to be prepared to stop, and when you look at that and you understand the situation that you're in, you got to know that it's going to change. You got to expect it to change, and you can't run those lights.
You can watch BCB Live weekdays, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. So what are you waiting for? Follow and subscribe to BCB Live today.
All right, hey, welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Hey, Bob, so I saw an article come out where it said that up to 12,000 drivers may quit with the new ruling in Canada that requires mandates that all drivers be vaccinated that passes into Canada, in and out of the Canadian border, as early as January 15th. Now, I think maybe 12,000 is a bit of a stretch, but even if it was a few, I mean, right now we're so stretched and thin. What do you think of these mandates? This is a Canadian mandate. This isn't the United States mandate. This is a Canadian mandate.
Yeah, I mean, every government has their right to do what they want, but again, what we're seeing, and the hard part with all this is when I talk to people, one of the things I hear the most is nobody feels like they can trust any of the information. They know it's real.
Right.
They know people are dying, but they also know people die of the flu and this and that.
Right.
They don't know what's fabricated, and that's what I hear most of the time. So, man, I just don't know how you can force people to do something, shots. That's the one thing I hear is like,
Yeah, no,
there's no other thing that forces you to get, like, you get chemo, right? You can't force anybody to, but then again, cigarette smoke, they banned, the government, most facilities ban cigarette smoking because of secondhand smoke. Well, I don't know where you draw the line, Dave.
Yeah, I don't. This is going to be a tough one. Already a supply chain already stretched to the limits, and we're talking about as early as January 15th. That's just a few days away, and with the Canadian border, and they're gonna implement that. And I don't know where we're going to be when it comes to that, crossing those supply lines back and forth across the Canadian border.
Do you see anything like in the trucking industry? One of the things I was thinking about, do you ever see something like this becoming like an endorsement? Like
A vaccine endorsement?
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah, I think
if
it's
you want
really,
to cross the border, you're going to
have to have this endorsement on your CDL.
You know what? And I think that's. I really think that we need to reevaluate how we do things. I think of all the people that are probably some of the safest out there on the road and are as isolated more than anybody else as truck drivers, contained within their bubble, doing what they need to do. They're some of the fewest people, fewest in numbers per capita when you talk about getting infected and not getting infected. Like when they talk about first responders, the firemen have been the most to get infected. Well, they share a house, they ride around in a truck together, and they're together with people all the time. police officers, the least infected, they drive around in cars by themselves, right? So they're isolated in their work, but they do interact with people. I'll tell you who interacts less with people, and that's truck drivers. So I'm not saying they don't interact at all, but I mean less, and a great degree less, right? And normally who they're reacting with is individuals that are themselves isolated, right? Yeah. So you see another truck driver at a truck stop, he's been isolated for 10 hours. You've been isolated for 10 hours. Y'all may just be at the same coffee machine for a minute, but y'all aren't sitting there, being exposed for minutes at a time, right? And then you move on and you go along your way. So I really think this is going to be, I don't know how we evaluate this, but I really think as essential workers in the way the trucking industry is, it really needs to be reevaluated on how we look at it, right? I think each of us have a different way to look at it.
Yeah, and from the truck drivers I've talked to, I think most of them, I'm going to guess somewhere in the 80 percentile, got vaccinated. So I don't see that 12,000 being
a right number, but even if it was a third of that, that's not good.
No.
You know how hard it is to replace 3,000 drivers?
Yep.
I mean, that's tough.
You're right, 20% would
be. I mean, you're just talking about a really difficult way to do that, and I think and as we talk about it and move forward, New Jersey has a really cool new program that they're going to implement. Do you remember the start date? I didn't write down the start date.
So it's actually being rolled out starting 2 days ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so New Jersey, their DOT has announced that the implementation of a traffic alert system designed to keep commercial vehicle drivers aware of upcoming traffic slowdowns and crashes is going to start being rolled out on January 11th, so a couple days ago.
Yeah, well, interesting stuff. I mean, we're going to find out how this works because I sure would like us to talk a little bit more about it. I just read the article and I found it very fascinating. So, Bob, here it is. You're driving in New Jersey, and on your ELD device or on whatever your communication device, it comes across when it reads out you're close by, traffic danger ahead. Slow down.
Slow down.
I mean, how much awesome is that, knowing, and it's designed specifically for truckers. Mm-hmm. So you can kick off the cruise and you can start looking for danger.
Yes.
Right? You're not just driving down the road and then all of a sudden the guys in front of you don't hit their brake lights. How are you going to know there's danger?
Yeah.
Right? And until they hit theirs, now all of a sudden you run into the danger. But if you're warned early, you can start looking, you can start backing off, you can start being prepared, and then when you see it, you can hit your flashers and warn other people in advance. What a neat system that is. I'm really interested how this program is going to work going forward.
I am too, because just put that last February, how many lives could have been potentially saved with that alert 1 or 2 miles prior to getting into the ISD at Fort Worth.
Agreed. I think this technology is an interesting technology. I think it's fascinating. I'm hoping that it becomes, that let's see how this pilot program works.
Yes.
And you know what, Bob? I challenge you to see how we can be involved in it, or we can get our guys and know a little bit more about it. Dylan, I challenge you to find somebody that we could even talk to somebody about this program. I just think this is so neat of a technology that we as a group can expound on, because an early warning danger device. Yeah. How many of those do you have around you? I think, a smoke alarm? I
was going to say, you look at all the early warning devices, and none of them are bad that I've seen so far, right?
Either.
Smoke devices, the tornado sirens, right? And, we have proven over the years that tornadoes and stuff, as we've gotten more warning devices, earlier systems and technology, people live. So.
People live. We can change a lot of what's going on if we all know what's up ahead, right? We can change.
And you don't have to install anything else.
You don't have to buy anything or install anything. I think you have to install a software.
Subscribe, probably.
Or do something. I think you have to do something, but we're going to find out about it because I found this a very interesting article, and I was like, well, if this really works, why aren't they doing this everywhere?
Well, and the new technology on the ELD devices, one of the things we've been told is if there's a global link, that's public, they can put it on the ELD device, from like Trucker's Path to this warning system to anything that can help the drivers with the new technology has that integration potential there as well.
What you got over there, producer?
Yeah, we got Alan Arnold. What do you got for us,
What's
sir?
going on, Alan?
Hey, good morning, Mr. Dave, Mr. Bob.
Good morning.
Hey, look, that sounds great and all, but I think we're going to have to try to get lesser ELD companies, okay, to where we're all on the same playing field for this to work. Because you got so many different systems out here, and a lot of these companies are not even playing by the rules of the ELDs right now. You know what I'm saying?
I get that, and I truly believe, Alan, I agree with you in a lot of ways, but I don't necessarily want a monopoly on ELDs. I think the competitive market allows for more technology, right, or better devices.
Well, too, Alan brings up a good point, but that comes back to the company. Not every
Agreed.
company does what we do, and we don't do everything the other company. So it's about best practices, and the companies, like you've heard Sir Rick say it, drivers out there. If you're not at a company that puts protecting life and safety first, you're probably at the wrong company potentially. So
make a good decision. Also, make a good decision. And you know what? And as we talk about companies out there, we're trying to find new ways to be better. Mm-hmm. We're trying to find new ways to be safer out there. And I think these ideas, these principles, and these stuff right here can add to the potential for. I just think smoke alarms are good in the house, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a smoke alarm in your house?
I have.
You have a smoke alarm in your house?
I have the combination smoke alarm and carbon monoxide.
Right, but you have an early warning system in there to give you warning. That's what I'm talking about here is an early warning detection system of some potential out there, letting you know that there's a danger. I think it's a great idea and a great technology. All right, hey, buckle up, Bob. It's Thankful Thursday.
Yes, it is.
I just want to make sure everybody understands that we haven't forgotten about you, the driver. Understand that you are appreciated and that we love you and that we want you to be safe out there. It is Thankful Thursday, so thank you, right? So
absolutely.
Thank you. And we'll be right back with Buckle Up, Bob, and the weather and traffic going forward in the country.
You're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now at 21% of record freight being rejected. News down in Texas. We're going to talk a little bit about this. We had another $1.5 million seizure. If ever there's a time to do a pre or post trip, it's if you're doing something wrong. Weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up, Bob. You can kind of see where the visibility can be compromised a little bit. Again, right where that rain is.
And most importantly, safety.
One of the things that we must do is make sure that safety is the number one thing that we focus on.
Going into an intersection yellow is not the way. That's to clear an intersection, not to enter an intersection.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live.
Hey, good morning on this Thankful Thursday. I want to thank each and every driver out there. It is Buckle Up Bob, and you are on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. We're going to get you started with a little bit of traffic this morning. And again, the DFW area looks really good, folks. The loops, we always focus on the loops. And the loops look great because that's your best bet to get around all this heavy traffic. And you can see, there's a little bit 5-10 minute slowdowns here on on the eastern side from Mesquite up to Garland, and then a little bit on 183 here at Irving, and that's all as you get to all this merge points with the tollway and the airport traffic coming up there just north of Dallas. So again, some really good there, and then always a bottleneck here at the 820 split here to 183 in North Richland Hills. But other than that, and again, these are the 10 to 15 minute type, not really all that intrusive, but the loops look, the rest of the loop looks great on everywhere around the DFW area, Fort Worth and Dallas. All the arteries coming in, 20, 30, you can see, look really good this morning. as well. There's 45 coming up from the south, 35W running north-south, and 35E also looks good. A little bit of a slowdown, 5 minutes or so there at the merge of 67 and 35E. As we go to Houston, it looks crooked to me. I feel like I'm leaning. Houston, you got, again, downtown area pretty bad. Just a little bit here on the 610, the northern part of the loop, and also right here at 610 merge point near Memorial Park there, Highland Village. You could see a little bit of a backup, a little slight backup down here by 288 as well. So, again, just be patient. You're going to make it just fine. All in all, not too bad this morning in the Houston area. Kansas City. Kansas City looks great as always. Got a little bit of a backup here in the downtown area, but other than that, the loops are fine. 70 looks great. 35 passing through looks awesome as well. So again, you've got another great commute this morning in the Kansas City area. Chicago, wow, Chicago has looked good all week. I don't know, they must have, are they having a COVID outbreak up there? Nobody working? Because again, it looks great. I mean, there's just nothing. The downtown area only. I mean, you just don't see anything. 55 is clear. 88 out in Aurora and Naperville, it usually has some issues, is good. 90 in Schaumburg is great. Coming across the state line, Indiana-Illinois state line looks good, 80 to 90 there. And the northbound side looks great also as you come down. So again, you get to Chicago, hey, another great day. Be patient out there. Let's keep it going. Hey, when we get to Atlanta, Atlanta has some issues. Again, I've seen it worse, believe it or not. But we've got the typical problems. We've got the 20 coming in, the westbound lane, coming into the 285 loop. You've got a backup here. It's just west of Lithonia at Stonecrest. It looks like about a 15 to 20 minute potential delay there, as well as on the eastbound side, or the eastbound lanes on the westbound side of the loop 20 as you come into 285. You also got about a 15, 20 minute delay. And then the problem spot that is there every single day almost, Sandy Springs, the whole northern side of the loop, you've got some issues on 285. Over here, west of 400 is the eastbound side that you got to back up. And then when you get over by Chambly, it is actually the westbound side that you've got a pretty good backup, as well as the southbound direction on 19 here coming into the loop, and 85, the southbound direction also. You've got a good 20 to 25 minute backup as you come into the 285 loop. Remember, we haven't said this in a while, but any new drivers out there, it is Georgia state law that you cannot pass through the downtown area. You must take the loops unless you are delivering inside the loop. So you must take 285 around the city of Atlanta. As we go to Philadelphia. Philadelphia, again, the turnpike is backed up both directions in some areas, all the way back to Conshohocken. And we got a little bit of a stop and go, maybe a couple 10-minute delay areas on 95 along the river. New Jersey side looks pretty good. Not much going on. But we got a report, so we're going to kind of swing out here real quick. As we get into the Harrisburg, Carlisle area, there it is. 81 is shut down, okay? So you can see this big red line. This is going to be the northbound direction, just north of Chambersburg, right at the Shippensburg area along 81, going up to Carlisle. So if you're heading up that direction, be mindful that you're going to look for an alternate route now. But again, Carlisle is a nightmare anyway for trucks. There's short ramps. It is just, and people don't slow down. But again, this is the northbound lane all the way back here from Shippensburg up to Dickinson. You can see the solid red. So again, we've got an accident there that has the highway shut down this morning. As we go to Nashville. Nashville, again, looks pretty good. Just a typical 24 on the northbound side. You've got, again, not a lot of red, so it's probably more stop and go, but it's just going to be slow moving. Pack your patience, as we like to say. be mindful that, hey, this is it every day, so you've got to have that patience. Be ready for it. A little bit of a congestion here at the 40-24 merge point, and then always at the 24-65 merge point as well as you're coming into the city, the southbound lanes. But passing through 40 looks great, and the loop looks pretty good all the way around the Nashville area this morning. Hey, we get into the Baltimore, D.C. area. Really looks good. Just a little bit of 5-10 minute issues up here in Towson and Parkville in the D.C. area. 95, 295, all look great connecting down to our capital. The D.C. area looks really good. Just like Atlanta, it's this northern part, Silver Springs. It looks like it's the westbound lane. Looks like it's got about a 10 to 15 minute delay there. But otherwise, the rest of the loop looks awesome in the D.C. area. So do the arteries coming in. Very little, minimal issues. Maybe a little bit of some stop and go from Gainesville to Centerville. But all in all, you've got a great commute this morning as you go into the Washington, D.C. area. As we look at Indianapolis, again, it's a lot like Kansas City. There's just not much going on. And this is amazing because I've been here where the traffic has been horrendous. It's a major thoroughfare for trucks. But again, great job on Indianapolis. 70 looks good. The entire loops look good. All the main arteries, 74, 65, 69, 74 and 65 on the southbound side, 70 on the westbound, all look great. And again, 69 heading up to Fort Wayne in northern Indiana. You also have some pretty good go of it this morning as well. So again, great job in Indianapolis. Be patient. Let's keep it going. Have a safe commute. As we look into our weather, again, we're not going to see much today. Some nice warming. Let's start with some good news, right? Let's look at some temperatures. And then you can see right now, and the current temperatures right now, you can see a lot. This was all blue for most of this week, right? Below 30s. But you can see just some pockets that are below 30s. But all in all, above freezing temperatures or right at freezing temperatures. You see Denver, 46 this morning currently right now. So, again, we got a little bit of a warm-up. And the forecast, as we'll go for the day, you can see really warms up nicely in the 50s for most areas, and gets above freezing up here in the northwest. And then tomorrow morning, Friday morning, you see the cold dips back, but again, a lot of warm weather right around that freezing mark. So our temperatures are going to be pretty mild. What we want to really watch is we do have a snowstorm coming, and you can kind of see this afternoon, Pennsylvania, you're going to see some rain. But you also got some yellow, this green with rain with snow mix. So just be ready for that. Some snow flurries in the upper elevations up here by Pittsburgh and Erie. And you've got a little bit of pink there, so there's a potential for some freezing rain along that I-80 corridor. So let's be ready for that. The west, this afternoon, you can see some rain, some snow and rain mix. Up in the upper elevations as it comes into Seattle and Washington. But the key here is going to be, let's watch what happens. So tomorrow morning, there you can, I didn't get to see when that starts to come in. So tonight about 10 p.m., you can kind of see the snow comes in from Colorado, or Canada. Sorry about that. But what they're saying is, what I've been able to find is starts out as one of those clipper systems, right, from Canada that can really wreak havoc. So the Dakotas, you can expect some high winds and some, typical blizzard conditions. And then you can see them tomorrow around noon. It really blows up in Iowa, Minnesota, starts to get some in Wyoming, pushing into the Denver area. And this is forecasted for tomorrow at noon. And then tomorrow, Friday evening at midnight, you can see St. Louis, you're going to get hit. Kansas City starts right on that line. No freezing or mixed ice is showing up right now. But again, when you see that line right there, anything's possible. It all depends on the temperature, ground temperatures, atmosphere, all that stuff comes into play. But as we move into Saturday morning, again, it just kind of stalls a little bit. And you can see Kansas City, Missouri, St. Louis, all the I-44 corridor, you're going to get hit with some snow. Just south of Missouri, it should be all rain. Again, so it's just one of those things where we've got to watch it. It's going to be a little bit treacherous. Anytime you got snow, remember, you are required for a safety standpoint to reduce in snow-covered roads by 50%. So again, you can't be driving 50. I know it feels safe. The roads look good. What you're not thinking about is that patch that can get you. There are going to be some packed spots that could come up and get you. And the other thing to always worry about is the four-wheelers that they think they all know that area, but none of them ever slow down. So you've got to watch for them. The big story in the Carolinas is going to start to hit around Sunday. There we go. So Sunday at 5 a.m. Let's see, I think it was. There you go. So you can see it starts out at 2 a.m. With snow and wet snow and some rain mix. But as it goes and you get to about 4 or 5 p.m., you start to see the freezing rain as that temperatures start changing just slightly. In 2 hours, you could see some freezing rain, some ice pellets in that brown area. These are ice pellets. And then you've got that freezing rain right there in South Carolina. It looks like mostly concentrated there. As we go through Sunday afternoon at noon, that's when it gets bad, right? The ice stretches all the way from North Carolina into Atlanta. You have pockets of Kentucky near Lexington and Louisville. Also out here on that I-81 as you start to come up through Tennessee, just east of Knoxville, if you will. And then you start heading up into southern Virginia. That's at noon on Sunday. By 9 p.m., you can see the system kind of gets a little bit bigger and a little bit more concentrated. Now you got freezing rain and ice pellets in Virginia, West Virginia, moving into southern Pennsylvania, but you can see all that snow from Maryland, the D.C. area, Ohio, most of Kentucky, Tennessee. As we move through Sunday, this is at 9 p.m. And then as we look at our Monday morning at 6 a.m., I think I moved the map, sorry about that. You can see the systems there. St. Louis gets a little bit of another snow shower coming in, not expected to be much, but now you can see New Hampshire, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, pretty much the western half of Pennsylvania, and then up in the northern, up around Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, you're going to see that mix again. So again, I hate it when them lines are right there because you just don't know. When we look at the new snow, in the next 5 days, okay, you can kind of see Lexington, 8 inches almost. St. Louis, 3. Omaha, 7.2. New York, 7. Again, these are forecasts. If I hit on the 10 days, that's what I'm going to show you too. They're expecting 9 total inches, right? St. Louis still the same. Iowa City, 6.3. So again, it's not a major one, but you're going, I mean, it is major. It's not like we're talking a foot, 10 inches in one fell swoop, but you are going to see in most areas at 3 to 7 inch totals. You can kind of expect it, except for maybe Indiana. You might just get a dusting, and western or eastern Illinois. But at Tennessee, southern Missouri, Kentucky, North Carolina, the northern parts of Georgia and South Carolina, all the way up the East Coast, you're going to expect that 7 to 8 inches of snow. So again, folks, be ready for that. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with some safety. Hey, good morning.
Hey, everybody. Trying to see. For some reason, I was red, not green. What happened there? Hey, everybody. Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. We are back. Drive Safe Dave here, along with the producer and, of course, the safety guru, the guy that knows. Buckle up, Bob. What is the topic for today, Buckle up, Bob?
You know, I appreciate you telling me how smart I am and that I know everything. But I want to, on this Thankful Thursday, give you the source of where all that great knowledge comes from. It's not Sir Rick. It is the drivers out there. I have learned so much from drivers over the years. I like to tell some of the drivers that love to debate with me, I like to tell them, hey, I've got about 50,000 years of experience. Or no, 2,000 years of experience.
50,000
No, 2,000 years of experience. And I say that because of all the drivers and their experience that I've got to drain their knowledge from. That's what this show's about. I want to encourage everybody to tell your friends, get on the show and share your knowledge. We want to help the industry, right? And the way you can do that is tell us. I've never driven a truck. I've learned everything about safety from the drivers, the ones out there that I've developed a relationship with that I can trust, that are going to shoot it to me straight and tell me the ins and outs. And that's you all. And I want to thank each and every one of you for that knowledge. One of the things we've been talking about this week is too fast for conditions. Again, I challenge everybody at the beginning of the week. If you've got any that we're not thinking of, something that's maybe out there that we just don't think about, please raise your hand and let's share that about too fast for conditions. Today, I found this pretty interesting, is you must slow down if you're loaded. The heavier you are, the slower you need to go. And I think typically in my head, and I think other drivers, they feel safer when they're heavier because they got traction, they've got all this, which may be true in some inclement weather, but large trucks fully loaded are 10 times more likely to roll over than those with an empty trailer. And I found that amazing. Not the wind obviously would play a difference, but just your pure speed, when you're heavier, it's harder. And then the other thing is, we know this, but maybe you don't know the numbers. Loaded trailers require 20 to 40% more braking distance than other vehicles, when you're loaded. So again, when you're loaded, you have to be, we always talk about situational awareness. The situation is you're heavy. You cannot stop on a dime. You can't even with an empty trailer, but you must. That speed limit, remember, those speed limits are for vehicles that can stop, not for trucks. So when it says 70, it doesn't mean you should do 70. Slow it down, especially if you're loaded. Be safe. Remember, the only thing that matters, protecting life. That load doesn't matter getting there. What matters is that you protect life, and you start with protecting your own, and you can do that by slowing down.
Yeah, we use the word too a lot in when we say too fast and we say too tight. And we talk about that word, and especially in these conditions, and we're talking about too fast for conditions. That adverb is usually used when it is excessive to the point of when it's not good anymore. So, like, for instance, too much, right? Much is usually a good thing, but too much is not usually a good thing.
Too much of Drive Safe Dave is not a good thing.
Yeah, too nice. That guy's too nice. Yeah, okay, that doesn't mean that's not a good thing, right? When they're too nice, but when you say too fast or too tight or too this, basically what you're saying is it's not a good thing, and that's what we're trying to say here, is that when you're going too fast for conditions, you are doing it in an excess of a measure in which it's not going to be good. And we talked about rollovers today. How did that tie in really good with the rollover breakaway video that we had earlier today? That was good stuff.
Yeah, perfect timing. And again, every rear end accident that I've seen, if a driver's cited, it's too fast.
It is too fast, and
too fast for conditions or following distance. Those are one of the two citations that are coming out of a rear end accident.
Failure to stop.
Yep.
Failure to stop. Okay. Let's look at some videos, man. I know we got some.
Here again, I didn't get a chance to look at them, but again, great job by this driver backing off. This almost looks like a carbon copy of one about a week or two ago.
Yeah,
I kind of remember we were backing off and two trucks were tailgating in that left lane, right?
Yeah, that's not a good thing here.
No.
Right? They're tailgating. They're not making it easy. He can't even see. He's going to try to. Well, it looks like he peeks out here for a minute to see if he can go around to the right, and then says, "No, there's a truck there."
And this is where Sir Rick was talking about.
See, look,
we as a company need to take this and just share it with the PAM people, you know, to say, hey, this driver is being aggressive
within 6 to 10 feet of the vehicle behind him. I mean, there's no way he's stopping.
No, and last year we had a DOT reportable where we stopped, and I believe she was airlifted, but a PAM driver rear-ended. It was a 3-truck pileup that hit us after we stopped for a disabled vehicle, I think it was, or traffic. And so it's just, tailgating just has to go away. You have to make that decision that you've got to know that if I can't see the ground in front of me, and that's even still too close, but when you can't even see the ground in front of you, start counting. You got to back that off to 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, you got to back off.
Be patient. Here again, the four-wheelers, man, they just don't respect. Look at that. Oh. And then we're going to pass. That vehicle is going to pass. Great job. You got to back it out of there, right? Again, I'd like to see even more braking there. The video is great, but right here, we got to be hitting the brakes a little bit, because if that tangles up right there, we're still a little close.
Yeah, you know, this just
give yourself as much
space.
It's
just crazy on crazy, and not respecting anybody else on the road. That's what you got.
Yeah. Again, here your traffic looks like a pretty good job here, but here this four-wheeler is going to come over. And this is what I love about this. Look at the space immediately. Brake lights, come on. We're not gaining. This driver's not gaining.
Nope.
Outstanding drive. Great defensiveness there. Kudos. I mean, this is what we talk about, folks. Every driver on this show, this is what your driving habits have to get to. You've got to strive. You're going to make mistakes. It's not that you can't make a mistake, but you got to learn from it, and you got to see these videos and realize that, man, that was safe. There was very little chance this driver in this truck is going to take anybody's life or be involved in an accident.
Yeah, I really like this video. You're in the middle lane. You're not on a merge lane. It looks like a lot of traffic over there on the right, a lot of stuff going on, so you chose a great lane to be in, and continued to provide spacing no matter what, however, whenever. Nothing, no jerking around, no, just basically created genuine space right here. Even though they're slowing down, you're creating more space. Good job.
Yeah, sharing the highway. Great job. Here it looks like maybe a last-minute decision. Again,
last-minute decision, yeah.
Make sure.
Okay, right here is when you have to realize. Do you see that big truck coming in on the left?
Right here, you just got to take it. Stay on this exit and find a different place to turn around.
Yeah. This right here, leaving the roadway. This is hard on equipment. This is dangerous. You can create, if that dirt and soft. I want to, and look at that big truck there coming down the lane. You're right here. This right here is a dangerous for many, many reasons. Number one, you weren't prepared to exit. I don't think maybe, you know what I think really happened here? We weren't paying attention to what was going on and the sign of where we were headed. And then at the last minute, we couldn't tell. We thought, wait, and then realized that's not the way we wanted to go. And then, oh my goodness, I definitely don't want to go north or whatever that is, and then decide to go. Right here, just such bad decision after bad decision.
And you know what was really alarming here, and this is what we want. Again, we're not blaming anybody. What we want is you to take this information. But when we see people run red lights, we've heard drivers come on the show and say, well, there's this point of no return. Yet here you're on a ramp, and you don't have a point of no return. Once you're on that ramp, that's your point of no return. You got to go, keep going. You cannot make any other decision at this point other than to stay on the ramp and find, it may take you 5 or 10 miles out of your way, but you got to do that from a safety standpoint. Why do we have no point? We have points of no return at an intersection, which is dangerous, but here there is no point of no return.
Yeah, you're pushing the machine to where it's not. This is not an off-road machine, by the way, that you're in. And you know what? There's so much going on here. I wish you would take a look at this video, whoever this is, watch it themselves and understand. And be honest with yourself of what you've got going on here. And before this video, at the very beginning of the video, I think the driver at the last minute decides to exit from the center lane, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have gone up and turned around. If you had done that, you wouldn't be doing this.
Correct.
Right? And I'm just saying, you've got to be honest with yourself.
And you don't know how that terrain is, right? That could have thrown them into, you've seen all the rough terrain. Yeah. That could have thrown them into that truck.
Here's somebody passing last minute, not wanting to slow down.
Construction zone.
Yep.
Man.
Got Jersey Walls on the right. This is So you got this lane over here. It's exit only.
There you see him in the mirror.
Yep, coming up. Definitely not going to be respectful there either. So, not very respectful here.
See what we got here, slowing down.
Like the
love
concrete.
it. We love it when we can see that concrete, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, you're almost stopped here. Oh, wait. Oof.
Patience.
Okay, you see the ladder sticking out the back?
Yeah, wood or something sticking out the back with the red flag.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Why are
Just stay right here. You can obviously get the big picture and see you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go. Just stay back here.
And then why inch forward here?
Now, my guess is because I've done it. Again, be patient and don't think or assume. I assume they stop. Now that I see other cars moving, so they're going to start to move. So I start
agree.
to roll forward, and then this guy doesn't move yet. He's being patient.
Yeah, you know that. I'll tell you what. That one video scared me so much. The other video leaving the roadway.
Yep.
It scared me a little bit. So
No.
you got anybody on the? Anybody wanted to
Yeah,
talk
we
about the
got,
videos they saw today?
Got Alan Arnold on the line.
Oh,
What do you
Alan,
got
what's
for
up,
us?
man?
Hey, Mr. Bob, I got a few things here for you, but it's basically for new drivers
Okay.
coming into the industry, okay? One, you just gave a forecast of snow and ice mixture and stuff. Keep in mind, okay, we have freeze and thaws. So those solid white lines and solid yellow lines, all right, they have rumble strips. They hold water. So when it gets to 40 and it falls a little bit and they run the plows over, they're not getting all that ice out of there.
Yeah.
Okay. So try to stay off of those lines. Seriously, because that's where you're going to end up having a slip and fall, more or less. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's accidental, but it's going to happen. And the second thing is, with all the lack of truck parking, and I'm saying this directly to the new people, carry money in your pocket or on your card. That way, if you get into bad situations, you cannot find a safe place to park. And if your head starts bobbing or your eyes start closing, call your DM. Have them find you a hotel with truck parking.
Yeah.
I'm serious, because you get yourself into a bad situation, like you said, it only gets worse. Okay? And yeah, that video was scary.
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment on it, but it was scary.
Now, great points, buddy. And yeah, hey, in this inclement weather, get with your carrier. Find a place to shut down early. And if you have to pay for parking, most carriers will reimburse you when it's a weather-related situation. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Shut her down and find that safe place.
All right, and with that, we're going to go ahead and close. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather before you today to ask for your grace in all things. Father, we also want to ask for you give us the ability today to be appreciative of what we have and what we want. Father, we want to thank the drivers out there for what they do. We want to demonstrate how truly thankful we are for what they do each and every day. We want them to understand that we love them and that we want them safe. Father, give us the ability to go out today and be a blessing upon whomever we meet in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Father, give us the strength and the courage to do your will upon the world as you see it. Keep us safe, keep us protected, and keep us in your embrace. We ask all these things in your name. Amen. Hey, everybody, we will see you this afternoon. Be safe, be kind, and be considerate. We'll see y'all later.